Wonderful people, bless you. Thank you for being with us again today. Yes, it's such an exciting day, and those who are going to the Super Bowl, hey, have a good day. Wonderful thing is happening. All right, enjoy. And now we have our music on. Okay, yes, thank you. Wonderful. Yes, all right. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you, and blessing to all. It's a wonderful day and a wonderful time of the year because it is getting close to springtime. And the wonderful thing is about getting close to springtime, the days are getting longer. Here it is, almost 7 o'clock, and guess what? We still see outside. It's not dark at 5 like before. Ooh, yes. Anyway, I am Michael Jones, your host today. Speak of the gospel, life coach, and a desire to excel. Come to you with messages of inspiration and then go above and beyond the ordinary. We're not to equal, but to excel. Yes, and this is what we do today. Be helpers of one another. So in our course today, our class today, welcome students, and I am not a professor of regular school, but guess what? We all have a message and we all have a situation. We all have something to tell. And just because we're going through some stuff, now is the time to share what we've gone through. Share some of those situations to let someone know that, hey, I can help you. Either I can give you some information or a suggestion or inspiration, motivation, and then you have the determination to get up out of that situation and then be a help for somebody else. That's good. So, with that in mind, we come today to talk a little bit about addictions. Oh, yes, addiction. So, now, first, we want to know about addiction. Okay, addiction is like a giant. Remember, there was a story of a giant, and he was in charge of an army, large army. In fact, this country called the Philistines, right? And he was a huge dude. I mean, huge. And he used to like go across the river, across the little waterway or whatever it is, and intimidate the Israelites, the soldiers, the army. But no one would really dare attack him because the dude was so big and he had all of this armor on and his army was behind him. So anyway, along came a shepherd boy. He couldn't use the regular soldier gear that the regular soldiers had, so he had a slingshot and rocks, and he destroyed, beat down. He just defeated the giant and destroyed him. So today we're faced with another giant. We're faced with a giant that's just as destructive because he come to kill, steal, and destroy. He will keep you occupied. He will keep you uh, messed up, overshadowed. He will keep you separated from your creator. He will keep you separated from each other. He will come to destroy your family, your relationship, your marriages, your society. This giant that we're talking about today will destroy you. And that's one of the reasons why, if the one can be destroyed, the other one can too. Because this giant is a spiritual giant. Before we were attacking a physical giant, 9, 12 feet tall, I think it was, something like that, right? Big dude. But anyway, this giant comes with other armies. He comes with the main army, and the main army have three different divisions, three different main military outlets like divisions, right? And the three that we'll call today and we'll focus on uh, the addiction of alcohol, alcoholics, the addiction of drugs, okay? And then the addiction of sex, sexual addiction. All three are powerful. All three can cause danger, damage, cause destruction, and can also kill physically. Yes, all three can. But the important point of it is that we want to make to you today that there are other little called units. And the little units that he have that this giant have that will support him go into to make known that they come also to destroy. They come also to raise havoc, to be destructive, cause confusion, cause chaos, cause a lot of damage, and also can kill also. Now, we'll talk about some of these little units. And these units are like the special units. They're not just the run of the mill type military operation. You know, like in the military, we have the combats, then we have the infantry type thing, which is the combats anyway. Then you have the large weaponry of the mortars and the bombers and all that stuff. Then you have the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, all different ones. These units are specially formulated. They're specially designed. They are there because ordinarily what happens is that they can be looking so innocent, and then form together to go into the main operation, the main soldier, the main army, and unite with the main army, become addicted, and then we are left in a situation that we can also be hurt and destroyed. So some of these units are okay, just like I would say, the special units, just like the Navy SEAL, the Rangers, the Green Berets, and different ones that are specially made or formulated for these purposes to kill, destroy, and kill, steal, and destroy. So anyway, now some of the units that we have here. One of the units, fear. Fear can be a helpful. Fear can also destroy. Because one thing about fear, you can say that okay, fear of doing something, fear of going somewhere, fear of a person that's maybe going to hurt you, fear of the unknown, different types of fear. And then because you have a fear, you might go into the main operation of addiction because now you want to relieve that fear. You're making yourself stronger as in a psychological and sensual way that, wow, I'll start to drinking. I might start to drugging because I'm afraid that something's going to happen. Paranoia is also a form of fear, and also this fear can do something for you. But then there's a good side of fear, which is like a cautious. You fear when you're going down the street and there's a cautious sign. You slow down. Or either when the roads are bad, you slow down, drive careful, drive offensively, defensively, that is. You know what I mean? Then there's a checklist that the pilots have or the drivers have. Check your GPS because now you're afraid that something might happen to you if you go too fast. You can have an accident or a wreck. So fear can operate in different forms, but when fear come along in a negative format, then it can lead you into an addiction. Then there's another one we call anger. Yeah, you can be angry, mad, upset, disappointed, been out of shape, they call it, you know what I mean? So that type of addiction coming in that goes. Now you're so mad that you're hurt, and also hurt is one another form, another unit that we use that we're going to go through, right? But this anger. So you're so mad, you're so upset that you might start to doing drugs. Nothing is working right. You're paranoia, you're upset, you're bent out of shape. So you don't know what to do. You're angry enough to hurt somebody, and then you do. So next thing you know, you might take a hold to something, maybe a drink, maybe some drug, either maybe you might have domestic violence. It's when you start to rape. It's when you have abuse. These kind of things can come about with anger. You you don't use cautious when you're angry. You stay just off the cuff, however you want to do it, however you feel like doing it, right here, right now, because you don't care, not caring. So that is also a form of the how you call it abuse, and also with addiction. It can lead into addiction. These are some of the things that can lead into addiction. Another thing that can lead you into addiction is pride. Yes. Well, they're talking about the narcissistic attitude, uh, overwhelming attitude, high-minded attitude, prideful attitude. Nobody can do it like you. Nobody can do what you can do. These kind of things can lead to addiction also, because now you find out that you're not all of that. You'll find out that you're just another person. You find out that all of that pride stuff will go because it leaves you in a situation whereas you start to overextending your ability, overextending yourself. Then you come with the loneliness. This more or less is because of sometimes that causes people to cheat because they're so lonely. They need some company. They've been upset. They've been distracted. They've been neglected. They've been put aside, put away. All of that bad stuff that happened to them. They're by themselves. They're in a place of uh, nobody want to be bothered with them. So now, what do? You might start off in an easy way. And this is why I would say that addiction can come to you in such a easy way. The ease of addiction. Well, a shot here, go to the bar, either just pick up a little cocktail, something easy, something nice, a little drink of wine. How about a nice cold beer? And you say you're watching TV or something, and you run your bath water or something like that, and you have drink a glass of wine there, right? And it feels good. It feels good. But the next thing you know, it's like more and more. You have another glass of wine, maybe later on that day. Then tomorrow, you have another glass of wine. Next thing you know, you're having bottles of wine. So then, beer, liquor. It starts off with the easy. It starts off with uh, the light stuff. Starts off with innocentness. But because you're lonely, because you need company, because you have that feeling that you have low self-esteem, low self-worth, these kind of things can also lead to an addiction. So we're just here to let you know that not only that a person can be a drug addict, a person can be an alcoholic, crawling around out in the street, a wino that is, and being filthy and everything. Well, addictions can come to you in so many different ways. How about being stressed? Stress and depression can also lead to an addiction. You're working hard, things are not happening right, things are like, wow, what's going on with your life? You're there in a place where you don't know if you're going or coming or barking at the moon. People keep putting things on top on you. They're asking you favors and you don't want to say no, but yet and still, like some people that would say that, well, I help people do everything all the time, and I'm always there for them, and no one can be there for me. And I am so tired of this. I am aggravated. I am frustrated. Then You start to look towards other things, other issues, because now you're now frustrated, you're aggravated, and that depression can lead to stress, and stress can lead to an addiction. Because now, like we say with liquor, stay with drugs. Drugs can ease that depression, ease it. Ah, so then it's like, okay, and I give my little testimony, and sometimes I think, please don't don't judge me too hard, don't judge me too bad, right? I remember when I used to do a catering on Wednesday. Okay, I book a party, but I go shopping like on a Wednesday. Go to the equipment company, get the plates and everything I need for the party, right? And I always have a good account there and everything. Now, Thursday, I go to the food vendors. Thursday evening, Thursday night, the food that can be stayed and stabilized in the refrigerator. Friday, because the party is Saturday evening. All right, good. So that one day, Thursday night, Friday. So I'm up all night Thursday night. Friday, I'm there all day, working, cooking, fixing this and fixing that, making the phone call, making sure my help is all situated, make sure they got their uniforms, and just all these things that come into your mind. So you're stressed out. Saturday morning, I'm loading up the truck. I'm loading up. I'm heading towards the facilities. Saturday afternoon, we got to heat up the food, make sure it's ready. So the party starts around what, 4 o'clock sometimes earlier. The wedding is like 12 or 1 o'clock sometime. All right. So after the wedding, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock, they come into the facility. I have to be ready. My crew, my staff, ready. So we have to do the hors d'oeuvres, the fruit punch, whatever. Then make sure the food is ready, everything. All right, they eat. Now, about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, they're like winding down. 8 o'clock, they partying, right? Now, I'm getting ready to go home. But in the meantime, I have to stay until I see the main person to see to get my money, all right? But I don't go home at about 11 o'clock. I don't go home because now I'm so wired. I either did a drink because I already had my drink with me. I bought me a bottle of scotch. Or either I make that phone call. I have a couple of girls on side that, so this side chick thing didn't just start. It's been there for a minute, right? I will either come tell them I'm coming by. Okay, no problem. I will go by. Then sex release my frustration, aggravation, and this relaxes me. Drinking relaxes me. So now I can go home. But see, the point of it is like because of that stress, because of that pressure, and this has happened a lot of times, many times, even later on in life. I can get frustrated, upset. Then I start to turn into porn. That was an addiction that it was hard to beat. I'm telling you, hard to beat. So in the meantime, you have to do these things, go through these trials and errors, go through these, how you say, tests, count it all joy when you face these different tests. How can you have joy when you're going through a situation like that? So I had to go through these situations. I didn't have to, but I did because of the addiction. So these are some of the things I just bring to your attention that because you go through these things, you say that, well, now, okay, I am addicted, but how are you going to get rid of it? How are you going to overshadow this? How are you going to defeat it? Because for one thing, there are a few things you have to do to have a change of heart, a change of mind, a change of spirit. And one of the things is detox your spirit, detox your body, detox your mind, right? So then there's a few other things that were to bring to your attention to about what can cause addiction besides like drugs, alcohol, and sex. So with this monster on us, this monster with us, and the monster around us, wow, how can we overshadow this monster? David had to use a different approach because he couldn't use the same weaponry that the army had. So therefore, when this monster come into our area, come upon us, we have to have we have to know and be aware and conscious of things that can happen. That's why we call them the red flags. Red flag. So we have to know that this monster is no joke. And this is why so many times people get addicted behind little innocent things, so-called innocent things. They have sometimes with they're depressed, not only said they're depressed, but they're aggravated, they're upset because someone either neglected them, someone upset them, cheated on them, called them some name that they didn't want to be called, left them hanging, left them frustrated. So with what's going on, because of the feeling of loneliness, because of the feeling of being aggravated and neglected, they start to eating. All right, you can eat, 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 and this is why so many times, whereas especially the lovely young ladies, they go eat a box of ice cream because they've been upset. Upset. Well, that is also heading towards an addiction. Next thing you know, every other day or every day they grab that ice cream because they've been neglected, they've been upset by somebody. The love that nobody cares about me. The person that they thought that was going to be their ace coon, ace not there anymore. So therefore, they eat the ice cream, or they're drinking the wine, and they're having cake. They say, they're gaining the pounds. Then, oh wow, I gotta go to the gym, but they can't go to the gym now because now they're so in tune, and it's so with this mental anxiety because now they're already situated in this thing. Now they're addicted to certain things. So these are some of the things that they can come about, that addiction can really mess over us and cause us to be frustrated, aggravated, and then kill, steal, and destroy, have us to be no effect to our own lives. Addiction can come to hurt your home, your family, make you do something like the behaviors, undisciplined behaviors that start you to doing things like, why am I doing this? Why am I hurting the one I love? Why am I hurting my children? Because now things in your mind that is already established now. Because we try to get to you, we try to tell you about these things so that you don't go to that place. Whereas, okay, with addiction, some people wait until they see the purple elephants in the room. They see things going up the wall. They see colors all in the room. They see dark. They see eyes all over the place. That is going to withdrawal. When we try to get the people to understand, get you to understand, get us to understand, because we've been there, done that. And that's why we try to be helpers of one another. Before you get to that place, when you feel that things are not going right, feel that things are like happening in a bad way, start to take action. Action now. And the first thing we have to do is, like we say, try to detox our mind. Think on these things. Think before you act. Think before you do anything really, really bad. Put on some good music. Talk with somebody. Talk therapy It's so good, so wonderful. But be sure that you talk with someone who knows a little bit about what you're going through. And they can like be encouraging. They can be motivated. They can have that spirit of like, say, I'm helping you to get through these things. Helping us to get through these things because this is now a support system. And this is why we need in addiction, we need that support system to help overcome that situation. Because sometimes you try to do things on your own, if you don't use the right strategy, and this is why we said before, with this addiction, this type of thing, you have to change the strategy. And most of the time, changing your strategy is through the mindset. The mindset. So when you think good things, and this is why we get rid of that positive, that negative attitude, get rid of all that negativity, negative people that's always going to be, oh, well, you know how it is. Oh, well, no, get rid of them. No wonder in addiction they said, people, places, and things, out of here. So therefore, wonderful people, think about who you're associated with. Think about what they have to offer, what they bring to the table. If they're not helping you, they're not talking to you to give you encouragement. And this is what that encouragement is all about. It's called faith, believe. See, that's why we have to talk to ourselves, speak things into existence. And that's why some of you have already heard these things. Speak those things that are not as though they are. Don't speak, okay, first thing I did, first thing, learn to say, I am not addicted. I am not broke. I am not sick. I am not anything that is negative. I am not. I don't care if I felt like a, I just said, I feel like a dead dog. I am not. I'm healthy. I'm well. I'm good. You know what I mean? And then sometimes you're like, well, you know, you got to be telling the truth. Well, that's what the truth, who is the word, says that speak these things. Speak it. Anyway, if you don't have a dime in your pocket, say you're rich. But don't go out there bumming for money, begging for money, and then desiring money. And that's another thing, too, with addiction. So many times, addictions come from pleasure. Oh, yeah, you know how it is. Money, you think you all that. And that's why we're talking about before with that arrogancy, that pride for this, everything. Okay, well, you have a little money. You can get a little money. You can get into it, right? But the point of it is that what are you going to do with it? Nothing worse than a fool with his money and don't know how to use it, don't know what to do with it. So therefore, now you're broke. What do? Go grab the bottle, go grab the drugs, go grab a woman. You know what I mean? So all these things can come about and come to play in your life when you let these things upset you, let them rule you, and then let them lead and guide you into deeper and darker things. So that's why we have to more or less be aware of these things, be aware of what's going on in your life, be aware of what's going on around you and your surroundings and everything, right? So that's why we try to come to you just to help, being helpers. Maybe something that was said to help to bring the little sense of value to the thing. Just like with a testimony that I heard one time before. And this testimony was this guy, 50 years old. He decided to go to church because he had 3 addictions: drug, alcohol, and women. I mean, like everything, right? Come to find out, he became an alcoholic because a situation came about, a relative of his that was raped. And he went to confront the raper. But the rape came out with an armed rape. This guy was only 16 years old. And when they got to the place to see the person that did the raping, because Seemed like no one said it. Back in those days, the family would handle it, or the guy in the house, or whatever, they would handle these things, right? They didn't call 911 and say, "Oh, I got raped," and you had to go down for this, that, and the other, all that stuff. Unless you was up in the suburbs or something like that, then you probably didn't make it back home. You know what I mean? But anyway, so anyway, I chickened out, I punked out, and next thing you know, I was an alcoholic at 17 years old. One day it took me, and they were telling me, and it's so embarrassing, and it was so hurtful that it took me 4 hours to go 2 blocks. 2 blocks. And now I'm not even talking New York blocks. This was in Detroit. You know what I mean? Because we live right off the main drag off of Woodward Avenue. And it was like they said that I was taking 2 steps forward and 6 backwards. I was going forward, pushing, and then I was rocking back. It's like, what? At 17 and 18 years old. And no one helped me. I was so mad about this. So that's why I went into the service, but I was still an alcoholic, but not as bad as I was before. But then again, come to find out that afterwards, I get the boldness. Don't mess with me. I don't play. I don't play. I don't play. I would might try to take your life away from you in the streets. If it can, you become one of those mean street dudes. You know what I mean? Set you up for death. Carry my gun, carry my razor, carry my ice pick, carry a few other things. You know what I mean? Then when death started to come into you in the face, and you start to doing something bad, like you know you ain't have no business doing, then hey, then you're facing the situation. You have to face death. And when you train to face death, when you're in the service, you never get to that place where if my life is a call for me now, would I be ready to go? And most of the time we'll say no, or either I don't care, because suicide is one of those things that can come about with depression, with addiction. Addiction because I was in love. I personally was in love. And I'm going to share this a little bit with you about, okay, we talked about the alcohol, we talked about the drugs, we talked about going out, having your girlfriend, sex is it. But what about this pornography? What about the lust part? All right. Porn is also an addiction. Porn can be bad for you, big time, because there are consequences in addiction. Consequences, penalties, they call it. All right. So I know one day I was watching porn. It was about 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Next thing I know, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I went from one to another to another. My phone was like, changed the phone. I put a charge on this. I had 2 or 3 phones, and each phone I kept going through the porn site, porn site, porn site. And then around 1 o'clock, I decided like, well, I'm finished watching these, but I couldn't stop. I could not X out of the porn site. One more, one more. I got to see this. I want to see this. It's like, what am I wrong with? I'm up there negotiating with myself. I am talking to myself about, why am I doing this? You know you ain't supposed to be doing this. But now all of a sudden now I got this conscious feeling about what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm not supposed to be doing. Anyway, about maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, I finally X out. So I say I go on social media. So I go on social media to my Facebook page, right? And I see a message there. And it says, share this with all of your friends and family. For some reason, I wanted to share that message. So in those days, well, you take your thumb, press it down, and it says, not swipe and share, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? I press my thing down, And then it came up. Okay, good. Now I need to post it. And when I pressed the finger down to post it, what showed up on that page was a complete porn action movie. Put my finger down, a movie showed up. People don't want to believe that, but your mind can manifest things. No wonder it says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And you are what you feel in your heart. So therefore, we have to think about these things. Let it be known that this is why we try to avoid certain things, try to get rid of things, and then eventually you can like ease up out of the situation. And one of the ways of easing out of a situation, easing out of this situation called addiction, is that we now come to the place where, okay, we laid a lot of foundation, a lot of groundwork, a lot of stuff that came about, right? So now, how about let's stop doing so much. Let's ease up. Okay, we know about the mindset. Okay, be renewed in the spirit of your mind. A change your method of thinking, positive thinking, thinking right. Stay away from negativity. Always try to think about something that's beautiful, something that's wonderful. Try to think about something that's inspiring, something that is creative, like, you know what I mean? But now, when you think these things, it's called the affirmation. Speak to your body, speak to your mind, speak to yourself, speak to your consciousness and your subconscious. Keep talking to yourself. Therapy is good for you. So therefore, one of the things that you can do, say for instance, you are a druggie, right? Well, unfortunately, cocaine was my weapon of choice. Okay. Ah, what I would do now, I had this, like, put it on this mirror with straws. I had actually had silver spoons. All right, I was going. I was like, wow, okay. Not knowing, not realizing I'm destroying my brain cells. Anyway, so now I'm like, why am I doing this? Here it is, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm still going through this coke situation. Okay, I'm going to stop at 12. Going to stop at 12. It don't work that way, people. I stopped at about 1 o'clock. But now I know I need to get up at 6 o'clock to go to work. I have to be at work at 7:15, something like that, right? I'm driving at least 20, 25 minutes on the throughway to another little town. And here I am at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm wired. I mean, why I cannot sleep for nothing. 3 o'clock, I start to dozing off. Now I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. I'm forcing myself now to stay awake. See, these are the consequences of being an addict. You can be a functional addict or either going through the changes, going through the situation, and then what we're gonna do is like what I had to do because of the trouble, because of the hazardness of driving and then being uh, drugged out, working all day. I started doing something that they call, like, I don't know how many of you know anything about farm animals, animals at all, period. Well, an animal, when they have their young, they like the young can just get milk until a certain time. Maybe I don't know how long. Sometimes it all depends on the type of animal. But after a while, that young one wants to go get some milk. Mama said, "Okay." About a minute, Mama moves away. The baby like, "Hey, whoa, wait a minute, Mom. I'm not finished." Mom said, "Yes, you are." So this can go on for a couple of days. Then after a while, Mama said, "No more. No more, dude. You out. You cut off." So this is what I'm trying to say now. Sometimes we go through complete cold turkey. Some people say that cold turkey is good for you, but what I'm saying, maybe because of my little experience, that gradual withdrawal is better for me, and it's better for a few other people that I've dealt with and helped out before, that gradual resolve. Because I remember a potato chip commercial one time. Bet you can't eat one, and sure enough, give them a bag of potato chip. They say, the whole bag is gone. But that determination, see, you got to have determination. You got to put that thought process into action. See, too many times we go through our process, go through our training, go through our therapy, and we hear these things. We go to meetings, and we say, "Oh yeah, we this, we that, we the other." But how much application are you putting toward your healing, to your sobriety, to your recovery? And this is another thing, just like we said, talking about how David couldn't use the weaponry of the army. He had to come out of the box. And with this one, first thing, even though we don't discard or discount professional medical help, and we're not therapists and psychologically, but we're here to use some of these things that are not medically endowed or medically licensed or whatever, right? And for one thing that I've used is hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is nothing more than auto-suggestion. You keep suggesting things. I can, I will, I must. Same as uh, talking that good stuff about speaking those things that into existence. It is a good thing. It's a spiritual thing. So this is why before we go to bed, keep talking to yourself how strong you are, how wonderful you are, how healed you are. It might sound funky, it might sound crazy, it might sound punkish, but guess what? Keep talking to yourself. Keep talking good things to yourself. And then another thing too, whereas we find out that this could also help a person, is that putting your hand to the plow and looking back. Too many times we keep talking about, well, I'm going on 20 years sobriety. I'm going on this, I'm going on that. I just say I'm healed. I just say I'm free. I just say I'm not sick. How long it been? The only thing that I can say that right now, and right said before I really get up out of here, is that I have a testimony. I went to church at 50 years old. And then being going to church, all of these stuff started coming at you because you've been doing all of this, doing everything under the sun, everything under the book. It's like, why am I in this church? You know what I mean? Because these attacks are really coming strong and hard at you, right? All right. So I'm talking to some of the church people because I don't know nothing about this sanctification stuff about church people. Not much. Not in actuality. I read the Bible when I was young and all that kind of good stuff, right? I got out of the church when I started being an alcoholic at 16, 17, but that's just going to church on a Sunday. And in the big church, I heard that a lot of fornication and hypocrisy was in the church. All right, I don't want to be bothered with them anyway. Little excuses that we make sometimes. Anyway, so I got this feeling, this spiritual awakening, I ever call it, voice come to me. Some people call it a voice. Some people say, well, it's God talking to you, whatever. It's your consciousness that's talking to you. It's saying that, well, you're in church now, and you can't have sex. So go sow your wild oats, and then you're going to be all right. You know what I mean? We listen to those kind of things, right? So I go buy me about almost a gram. Back in those days, a gram around $75. Then I went to put a mix on it. Now I got plenty now, right? I got almost 2 grams. Take it over to the girl's house, call up and say, look, yeah, I'm coming over, and maybe we can have some fun, yada, yada, yada. Okay, come on. So anyway, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm not doing drugs because drugs messes up your sexuality. So anyway, after a while, you first time you're like, yeah, okay, you get to go this, that, and the other. But after a while, that stuff wears down, wears on you, and you ain't worth 2 cents. I'm telling you. So anyway, so she smoked get all my good stuff gone, right? Then she started coming up with these excuses. Kids might wake up, da da da. Look, at 2:45 in the morning, they ain't waking up, da da da. Okay, this that. I'm putting the bag on her. I'm putting this on her. I'm putting that on her, right? She's not complying for nothing. Anyway, now she coming up with this female situation. Every excuse, I said, that I don't cross the line. I don't care what. Anyway, I leave. Now I'm a few blocks from my house. It's in the neighborhood. Every step that I made, I could feel a demonic spirit. I could feel the demons. I could feel something evil in the area. It's going to get me because now I done lied on God. I done lied to God. I done messed up. I screwed up. Money gone. Drug gone. It ain't getting none. Wow. And I mean, I was trembling and sweating by the time I reached my house. Don't you know, today, it's been almost 28 years now. I have not done drugs, no smoke a joint, I don't smoke no cigarettes. I had I had a cigar someone gave me for that baby. When the baby's born, they give you a little cigar, something like that. I took a drag off of that bad boy and like almost got sick. 28 years, and that's the only thing I remember about uh, the history of my addiction. You could ask me how long it's been since I did this, since I did that. I don't know. All I know is today. Today is the most important day of my life. All I can say is that I was and I used to. I did. But now I'm trying my best to stand straight, stand sober, and then help others to look at a better life. Always see something in the future. You see something now that's better than yesterday. I don't look at the pain of yesterday, because pain and sorrow is another thing that that causes you to turn to addiction. The hurt of being hurt, molested, raped, abused, ripped off, game played. Somebody run game on you, you lose all your money, you lose your family. You've been put out, caught out. All these things can come about, and it hurt. Next thing you know, whatever little money you come in, you buying liquor or drugs, or either you just in a place of mental disorder, physically disorder. This is the thing that can happen to a person when they are messed up with that addiction. So, pornography, lust, sexual addiction, alcohol, drugs, eating disorders, all these things can cause you to have bad reaction, can cause you death, harm, and destruction. So with that one in mind, wonderful people, I do appreciate you coming today and help us to continue to have these type of classes to talk with you. Just like keep it moving, keep it going, because these too many times we let things pass by us. It's like hidden in plain sight. And that's what addiction does. Well, I can only have things this way or that way. I want to have a certain brand of this and that and the other. You're heading for addiction. You're heading towards an addiction. You're addicted to certain things. You're addicted to this or addicted to that. And you can't change, you can't move. And then when it's time to have power and authority, it's not there because you've been messed over. You've been messed over. So with that in mind, wonderful people, I do thank you again for being with us today. Bless you, bless you, bless you. This is Michael Jones, your faithful servant, asking you to share this message out. If you probably see it on YouTube, let somebody know that, wow, they didn't know. I didn't know. Some things can just be messed up. Just like a little situation that happened. A man with lust in his mind. He said, I'm sexually addicted. He destroyed 8 lives going to a massage parlor. People thought that, well, it's because of racial intention, racial this, racial that. The man specifically and clearly told the police, I had a bad day. I'm sexually addicted. Boom. But no one is paying that any attention. Well, I'm here to tell you, pay attention because he destroyed 8 lives. Another situation where even in scripture, John the Baptist, which was the first cousin of Lord Jesus Christ, got his head cut off because the king desired his niece so bad. He had promised her and asked her if she would dance for him, he would give her a large portion of his kingdom. That's lust to the maximum, people. Lust is when you cannot stop doing or stop desiring things. Lust is when you are in a situation like I was one time, having an affair. And the young lady said no. She stopped. I begged. The next thing came into my mind is that you don't want to give it up, you're going to die. I'm already looking at a place to hide the body. That night, that message came to me, my mind, woke me up out of my bed. I don't know why I was going to bed so early because this is what happened. I got up, heading towards the throughway in order to die. I was heading towards death because now I am committing suicide. Just so happened I stopped by my church. The church was open. I went inside. I was too ashamed to pray, but I stood there anyway. And when I got in the car, turned the motor on, everything went black. And when I opened my eyes, I was back to my house. I drove miles. Stop sign, red lights, I don't know what. I don't remember nothing. I don't see nothing, know nothing. All I know is that I looked up, I saw my house across town. Did not die that night. So I'm here to tell you that this is serious. This is no game and no toy. So think about these things, wonderful people. Don't make fun of it. Respect it. Respect it. And then stay away from it as best as possible. But face your storms. But then don't face your storm alone. Get the help. And the help is always look up, look up, look up. So with that in mind, thank you and bless you. And have a wonderful, 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 wonderful day. Ah, oh, I see we have some guests. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for sharing with us. And I ask you to share this out. And we accepting comments, feedback, however, whatever, and I appreciate it. And it's like I say, this type of a message, it should be thousands and thousands and thousands of people listening to it, but they don't understand. People just do not understand that when they said boo, the darkness would not leave. But if they had the light within them and the way of righteousness and the way of good in them to stay away from that situation, to have the power, then when they said boo, the evil one will submit and obey. So with that in mind, take care. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and bless you. And to this day, to the next day, until we see and meet again. Bye now. Is there anything you want to add on or say to Nick? Is if you want to make a comment, I appreciate it. Yes, no, maybe. All right then. Thank you again and again and again. We'll be getting in touch. All right now. Bye.